In just 5 simple steps, I'll show you how to bake your texture and prepare a 3D model for game engines, or even sell it online. The best part, this method works on any 3D model and handle even the most complex node setup. If that's what you've been waiting for, stick around because I'm going to walk you through the complete step-by-step guide. Before we start baking the texture map, you need to understand why we even need a baking in the first place. So, basically, why do we create 3D models? One reason is just for rendering images and upload them to social media. The other is for game and studios. But here's the problem. When you import a 3D model into a game engine, it won't bring over the material and textures if the setup uses complex nodes. And that's exactly why we do baking. Baking turns everything into a simple texture, making it less complex and make sure your model works anywhere. That is the real purpose of baking. Now, to bake a texture, you need 4 maps: metallic, roughness, normal, and base color. In most cases, these 4 are more than enough to create a good texture. But before we actually start baking, there are 2 main tasks we need to complete first. If you want a clean and accurate texture bake, you've got to start with a model optimization. Here's how I do it. First, take a look at your model. If it has a lot of modifiers, you need to apply them before you start baking. Doing this one by one is boring, so here's the fastest way. Just select everything, press Ctrl+A and choose Visual Geometry to Mesh. That instantly apply all the modifiers across your objects. Next, clean up any unwanted geometry. If you got a cutter left over from your model process, delete them. You don't need them for baking. Now, let's deal with decals. Sometimes decals misalign during baking. So to prevent that, I usually select all my decals and move them into a new collection called decals and simply hide the collection. At this point, we are almost done, but I like to simplify things further by joining parts that don't need to move independently. For example, on my model, I'll just take the small turret piece that don't animate and merge them with the main turret using Ctrl+J. For the machine gun, which is separate, I'll just combine its parts together into a single object. This leaves me with only 2 objects, the turret on the top and the machine gun below. With the turret as the parent, I can still rotate it on the Z-axis, while the machine gun can move along the Y-axis. So we keep functionality, but remove the clutter of too many pieces. Finally, apply all transform and set the origin point to the center of the model. Now your mesh is clean, optimized, and ready for step 2, which is assigning the baking maps. For this step, I like to open a new tab by dragging from the right and switch it over to the shader editor. You could also just use the shading tab, both work the same, it's just personal preference. Now, to set up the baking node, I'll select my top piece and add a new image texture node. Once it is in place, I'll click New, give it a name like Baking, and set the resolution. Personally, I usually stick with a 2K texture, which is 2048. With that done, the baking map is ready. Now, we can move to the step 3, UV unwrapping. Don't run away when I say UV unwrapping. It is not as complicated as it sounds. So, I'll select the top piece, go into edit mode, and make sure the UV or link to the baking map we created in the step 2. With that said, I'll press U and choose Smart UV Project. I usually set the island margin to 0.008. The little extra spacing helps reduce overlap issues. Once you hit OK, Blender generates a clean UV map. To double check, I look for overlaps by going to Select and select Overlap. If anything shows up, it's just a matter of nudging those vertices apart until everything is clean. And that's it. Nothing too complex. Just make sure there aren't any collapsed or overlap UVs. Once the UV map is solid, we are ready for the next big step, baking the texture map. Now, Let's switch back to the shading tab. I'll isolate the top piece by pressing the / just to keep things clean and focused. If your model uses more than one material, head out to the material property panel. You'll see all the material is there. What we need to do is copy the bake map we created earlier and paste it across every material. In my case, this model only has 2, but if you have 5 or even more, make sure the baking map gets plugged into all of them. Next, let's prepare for the actual bake. Go to the render property and make sure you're switched to cycle because Eevee doesn't support the baking. Scroll down and change the render sample to just 1. Don't worry, this doesn't affect the quality, just makes the baking process much faster. Now find the bake section and expand it. The first map we'll baking is the base color. For that, I'll set the bake type to diffuse. By default, Blender tries to include the lighting in the bake, and we don't want that. So turn off direct and indirect lighting. That way, only the pure color information gets baked. There's one more thing to double check. If your material has a metallic value, make sure it is set to 0. Or if there any node is connecting to the metallic input, disconnect them temporarily. Otherwise, Blender will bake the metallic information into the color map and you'll end up with dark, washed out texture. Not what we want. So, go through each of your shader and set the metallic value on the principal BSDF to 0. That basically turns everything into a non-metallic material for now, which ensures we only capture the clean color. Now, the key part of baking is telling Blender where to put the bake result. That is why we highlight the bake texture node earlier. As long as the image node is active, highlighted in orange, Blender knows exactly where to load the bake texture. Finally, make sure your object is selected in the viewport and now just hit bake and Blender will generate the base color map for you. Just wait for it to complete and that's it. Now, we need to save it. To do that, switch over to the texture paint. Go to the image menu and choose Save As. From here, open the folder where you want to keep your bake maps and save the image. You can name it however you like, but make sure you add the word color at the end. That way, when you're assigning the texture later, you'll know exactly which one is your color map. The next map we are going to bake is the roughness map. So, back to the bake setting, switch the bake type to roughness. At this point, you can also turn on the metallic value back to 1. Or if your material had a node connected to metallic, go ahead and reconnect that. For the roughness bake, make sure your image node is set to non-color data, since we don't need any color information this time. Select the image texture on each material again and hit bake. Once it's done, head back to the texture paint and here's the really important tip. Don't just hit save, because that will overwrite your color map and you will lose it. Trust me, I learned this from my experience. Instead, always use save as. At this time, add a word roughness to the file name. The next map we need to bake is the normal map. This one is super simple. Just switch the bake type to normal and hit bake. Once it's done, save the image inside your folder the same way we did before. Now we've got the normal map locked in. That leaves us with just one more map to bake, the metallic map. And this one is a little different because Blender doesn't give you the direct option to bake metal values. But don't worry, there's a simple trick. Here's how it works. Think of metal as a black and white mask. White means it is a metal, black means it is not. To set up that, I'll add a new RGB node, and if I connect it to the metal input of the BSDF shader, you'll see it immediately. Let me set the RGB value to pure white. Now, the surface is fully metallic. If I set to black, it becomes non-metal. That's the basic principle we'll use for baking. So, instead of leaving the RGB node connected, I'll hold the Shift plus Control and left clicking on it. This lets us to preview the node directly. I'll set it to full white for materials that are metal and full black for the materials that are not metal. You need to do this for each of your materials. Once that's set up, change the bake type to emit and make sure your image texture is selected in every material, and also make sure your object is selected. Then just hit bake. When the metallic map finished baking, save it the same way as before, but this time add metal at the end of the file name. And that's it. We successfully baked all 4 maps: color, roughness, normal, and metallic. Now it's time for the final step: connecting the baked map back onto the model. We are going to clean things up. So remove the old materials from the model, delete any extra material from the material property, and clear out the material slot. Once it's empty, add a fresh new material. Select the principal BSDF shader, and with the node wrangler add-on is enabled, I'll hold Shift plus Control plus click on the BSDF shader. This will open up the file browser. From here, just navigate to your baking folder, select all 4 maps we created, and hit OK. Node Wrangler will automatically build up the setup for you. Plug in each map into the correct place. And just like that, your model is fully textured with a baked map. Take a look. The result is clean, optimized, and it looks great, doesn't it? We'll follow the same process for the next model as well. And don't worry, I'll walk you through the step by step. So first, I'm going to clean things up. I'll delete the old RGB node from the material along with the image texture we don't need anymore. Then I'll connect the mix shader directly to the output node, just so we can preview the material. Do this across all your material, so everything is reset and ready. Now, let's set up a new image texture. I'll add one and rename it to Bake 1 and hit OK. Over in the UV editor, I'll select the same image, then run a Smart UV project with the same island margin as before. If you notice any overlap, just nudge those UVs around until everything looks clean. Back in shader editor, I'll copy this new image texture node and paste it across all the material, so everything is synced. From here, it is the same flow we've been using. First bake the color map, then move to the roughness, normal, and finally metallic. Don't forget to save each one in your baking folder. Once all the maps are baked, we'll connect them into a fresh material and your model will be fully textured and optimized. And that's really how simple it is to bake texture map in Blender. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, hit that hype button and the like button to support this channel. And I'll see you again very soon.